Hello students, today we are talking about New Historicism. Stephen Greenbalt is considered as one of the founders of New Historicism. This is another name for this one is cultural poetics. In cultural poetics or New Historicism, Stephen Greenbalt defined this as a study of cultural practices like films, literature, music, sports, etc., and the history of its formation and the link between each other. So, basically, New Historicism examines the socio political context of literary works. It tries to find out the context of literary and other text works. In simple terms, we can say that New Historicism tries to find out the connection between a work and the socio-political conditions of the period in which it was written. Otherwise, we can also say that New Historicism we can also say that every text is the product of that writer's time and cultural situation. And New Historicism wants to find out under which situation or under which context a particular work is written. For this purpose, they are closely reads a text or a literary work. They closely observe the discourses in that work, and they tries to observe the family systems, labor systems, and patronage of that particular period in which that work is written. For example, when a new historicist reads a book of Elizabethan England, they are concentrating not about the exploited people of 16th century, but they are concerned about nationalism and English identity, the cultural practices like marriages, kingship of that period, morality, family setup of that period, aristocracy, and the life of working class, and the and nationalism of England, and they are also concerned about the foreigners of that Elizabethan period. This is, but when here we have to understand that New Historicism is not at all bothered about the exploited and underprivileged people of any period. They are simply trying to find out the historical and social background of a particular work. So we can basically say that it is a study about the social, political, and economic conditions or context of a particular work or art form. But they are not making a political reading in New Historicism. This is the basic difference between New Historicism and cultural materialism. In cultural materialism, when a theoretician is reading a book or a literary work or non-fiction work, they are connecting this to the to that old period, and they try to find out if there is any hidden agenda behind that text work. And basically they are more concerned about the exploited and marginalized people in society, but in new historicism they are not at all doing anything like that. Instead, this says about how the literary texts, dramas, myths, proverbs, etc., of a particular period express the power relations, authority, economic conditions of that period. Through this, through a particular work of a period, many writers tries to project the authority of the rulers of that era, and no historian tries to find out that. For example, according to this study area, Shakespearean dramas are a mode to project, or it's a mode to tell us about the authority of Queen Elizabeth. This is what Stephen Greenbalt says in his his concept of circulation, that all the Shakespearean dramas and literary works are not only a work of literary devices or sentiments, but also it's an attempt to project or glorify the personality of Queen Elizabeth. Philip Sidney and Edmund Spencer also did the same in their works in Arcadia and in Fairy Queen. Philip Sidney and Philip Sidney, and the writers of that period tried to express or glorify the the mighty empire of Queen Elizabeth, the personality of Queen Elizabeth. And this technique is and in new historicism they are trying to find out this technique. So when they are using when the writers of Shakespearean period used to glorify Queen Elizabeth, Stephen Greenbalt called this attempt as circulation. Circulation is an important concept in New Historicism, which means circulation here means the showing or expression or projection of power through fictional and non-fictional works. This is circulation, because through these art forms, rulers of a period tried to project the authority of that ruler, tried to project their authority, because art and literary forms are never neutral. These art forms are a way for the circulation or spreading of power. Through these art forms, the authority of a particular period or the rulers of a particular period tried to project their strength or power. This is and this tech in new historicism they are trying to find out this technique. For example, Kuhn's projection of circulation is clearly visible in the works of Elizabethan writers. Kuhn's image is circulated through pastoral poetry, autobiographies, Shakespearean plays, and travelogues. We have to consider this circulation as not a mere literary theme, but as an active creation of the myth and persona of a strong woman at the head of a patriarchal society. Here, This says that the queen's image is circulated through pastoral poetry, through the works of Edmund Spencer and Spencer and and another work is Fairy Queen. They Philip by Philip Sidney. They have propagated the persona, that glory of Queen Elizabeth, and also through these works they have given we have to consider these works not only as a mere political literary theme, but also as a as an effort to create the myth and persona of a strong woman at the head of a patriarchal society. So another example of the circulation of this notion about women, which is spreaded due to Shakespearean dramas, is that a negative impression about women. So New Historicism says that this, in one side they have given the we have given a good impression about Queen Elizabeth, but some other historians says that some of these Shakespearean plays made a negative impact on women. Certain Shakespearean dramas talks about sexuality and sexual relations of that period, and this led to many restrictions upon women because these dramas showed sexuality and sexual relations. This led to the impression that more and more restrictions should be imposed upon women to maintain the moral code. So this is a problem with this is a problem find out by new historians. So, in the words of such historians, that these dramas sometimes led to gender equality. Thank you.